probably gonna get some hate for this, but I do have this terrible habit of thinking for myself. Yeah, I've got no jokes today because this is a serious video. I'm gonna try to avoid joking around when we are doing like really heavy topics. Today, I'm gonna talk about Stephon Clark. Who's Stephon Clark? He was the 22-year-old father of two that was killed by police on March 18th in Sacramento. When I saw some of the headlines and some of the videos that were coming out, I saw things like unarmed black man who was shot 20 times by police officers in his own backyard just for having a phone, and things like, oh, they didn't have to kill him like this, and just all kinds of terrible headlines. And I was very upset. Like, I was shocked, I was horrified, you know, because I am black and I have a whole family full of black people. If there is true like police brutality going on, you know, it doesn't matter like what color you are, I am behind you like 1000%. Do you remember 47-year-old Charlie Kinsey being shot? He was a behavioral therapist who was helping his client with autism, and he was telling the cops that his client only had a toy truck in his hand and not to shoot, and he was laying on the ground with his hands up and they shot him anyway. Or how about when Justine Damon was shot? She was a white lady who was 40 years old and from Australia, and she called the police to report that there was a possible assault going on in her back alleyway, and she came out to talk to the police, and she was wearing her pajamas and she was shot and killed. I am guilty of being a critical thinker, and once I heard that the Sacramento City Police Department had released the video from the helicopter and the 911 call and the dispatch and both the body cams, I of course wanted to see the video for myself so I could make my own determination on what was going on. Just as a warning, Stephon Clark is shot and killed in this video, but just at the very end I kind of edited out his body just because I didn't think that that part was necessary to see. So I'm going to place for you some of the clips that I pulled from the Sacramento City YouTube site to help everyone get a broader, I guess a broader perspective, or like a better perspective of what exactly happened here. So let's do some critical thinking and some analysis here. Let's start with the 911 call.
Thank you. Hi, what's going on there?
Yeah, this guy's going down the street breaking windows of cars. He busted both my truck windows out. He busted in the people's backyard right now, across the street from my place. He busted two of my windows out and he broke the car's window out across the street from me.
Okay.
Cornered in people's backyard right now.
Do you know which yard he's in, what the address is?
Oh, I can't see the address on the house. The lights are off.
Which?
The lights in the house are on.
What?
So the house he's in the backyard, he's in.
Okay. So the 911 caller calls in and says that there's somebody who's been breaking car windows and he can see the guy in his neighbor's backyard. I pulled a clip from the dispatch audio that starts up a couple of seconds before the helicopter video starts. So I'm going to play that, and then that's going to take us right into our helicopter video.
I do. 2 yards to the south of you, though, I got a guy in a backyard that was looking into the window. He's picking up looks like a toolbar or some sort of thing. Might be trying to break the window right now. Stand by. 2 yards south of you.
So the police in the helicopter are letting the police on the ground know that the suspect, who is Stephon Clark in the video, has some sort of toolbar or something in his hand. So they are hyper alert and hyper aware of this guy having a weapon because that's the message that they have just received. Now we are about to go to the helicopter video.
Just broke the window, running south, running to the south.
The police in the helicopter have just watched him break somebody's window. And now he's running through yards and jumping on what might be a shed or something like that. And he's getting ready to... Yeah, now he's hopping over a fence.
Running south, he just broke the window, I believe, on the house. but he's one house to the south right now, gonna run. Okay, he's running towards the front yard. All I can tell is he's got a hoodie on. He's running towards the front yard of 29th Street. 29th Street. He's looking into another car that's in between the fence and the front yard.
Now our two officers on the ground are approaching.
So it looks like might be getting one at gunpoint.
Now they say, hey, show me your hands. And now from the helicopter footage, you can see that Stephon Clark is about to run away from the cops.
Okay, let's get a perimeter on this. Guy's running south. He's gonna hit this field. He's at one further house to...
Okay, now one of the cops just yelled, show me your hands, gun. And you can see from the helicopter footage that he grabs his partner and kind of pulls him back. So he's shielded by the corner of the house. Now he says, show me your hands, gun, gun, gun. From the helicopter footage, you can see Stephon Clark coming towards them.
Shots fired, shots fired.
Show me your hands! Show your hands!
Okay, and then we don't need to go any further past that point. So, yeah. So what I see here is not what was reported. America, the media is trying to deceive you. They're pushing this angle with this story that this was an innocent bystander who was doing nothing wrong, just hanging out in his grandmother's backyard or his own backyard, just hanging out on his cell phone when he was shot by the cops for no reason. That's simply not the case. This is being done intentionally to cause division and to keep people arguing amongst themselves. It's absolutely horrible and tragic that he died. Clearly the police made a mistake. They thought that his cell phone was a gun. They were wrong. And later, if you go on in the video, you can hear them saying, telling them to mute their audio, and then they mute the audio and then the video cuts off after that. That's not good either. Like that doesn't look good. He should not have died, but there's a reason why they call them bad decisions. And it's because sometimes they have bad consequences that go along with them. This young man had every opportunity for this not to happen to him. He didn't have to go out and start breaking people's windows and running from the police. If this was the case that the media was purporting it to be, where this guy had just been sitting there innocently hanging out in his backyard on his phone, you know, I would have been right there with you. I would have been like in the streets. But that's just simply not the case. This is a guy who's committing crimes, running from the cops. The cops get told he has some sort of weapon. It's dark. You can see how they could make that mistake, especially knowing that they already got the message that he has some sort of weapon. Adrenaline's going. And unfortunately, this young man lost his life. Like, it's a sad story. It's tragic. My heart goes out to the family. You have to be really careful when you're watching the news. The people who are running these headlines are just wrong. Like, they are lying to you on purpose. Anybody can do what I did. Anyone can pull up this video and see that this guy wasn't just sitting there innocently. He was in the middle of committing crimes and was running from the police and unfortunately got shot as they mistook his phone for a gun. So here's what's happening with the country. In this case, if you're watching the right-leaning media, what you are getting is the full truth, the unedited version, and just seeing that this wasn't a guy who's just an innocent bystander being shot for no reason. And so what you have is half of the country saying, well, you know, this is a tragedy, but, you know, you shouldn't run from the police and commit crimes. Then on the other side, if you're only watching stuff on the left, then all you're getting is that this was some innocent guy who was doing nothing at all, and he was just gunned down in cold blood for no reason. And so you have the right arguing with the left. It's a simple divide and conquer game. The moment we stop fighting with each other is the moment that we can tear down the establishment, and we can stop 2% of the population from having 98% of the wealth. But yeah, why do that when we could just call each other stupid and racist? If you like this video, subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Hit the bell if you'd like to get notifications for when we upload new videos. This is Right from Right Left of Center, and if you're watching, you're probably right too.